All praises to the Most High in Christ. I was watching a couple of videos, and a lot of people are discovering these pyramids here in America, and they're trying to say, "Well, this had to be Egypt. America had to be Egypt." Uh, no, I don't want to say that. What I will say, this proves now, because the Bible is right. The Bible is the most replicable uh, proof, references of the earth's history. The Bible is the most replicable reference of the earth's history. So you might want to say, well, explain why all these pyramids are in North America. More pyramids, older pyramids, all over North, South America. Uh, and I want to point out another thing. How many pyramids have been discovered in South America and also in uh, the Caribbeans? I haven't heard anything about pyramids in the Caribbeans or South America, right? And uh, to show you and what that says about the pyramids being in America is several things can be said about that. And I want to I don't know where to start with this, but let's start down in the Caribbeans and uh, Brazil and South America. What that tells me, when those no pyramids or very few pyramids are discovered in those areas south of North America, is that if there's so many pyramids in North America, then it must have been a natural building. It was a natural building phenomena in whoever was in these lands, right? It's like it's so many in North America, pyramids all over from north to south to east to west. Pyramids everywhere, popping up everywhere. What we thought was just hills and mountains, they have a diameter. That you look at the diametry on it, and there's steps. You've got four sides to them. You got the base, and then you got them narrowing up like a pyramid. Those mountains don't just do that. That's not a natural occurrence. No, that's not how mountains are formed and shaped. Uh, but like I always said, there were Northern Kingdom natives, Israelites, scattered all over America when they got here. They had been for years. And what that also proves to me is that uh, the Northern Kingdom didn't travel and separate themselves, divide themselves, and go down, because it's more Northern Kingdom Israelites in South America than it is in Northern and Central America. There's more Northern Kingdom tribes down there. So if it was just three tribes here in America, if there was just three tribes here in America, and we look at Genesis 49 as a reference to, and where most of the tribes were scattered in South America. Reference of the 10 tribes were mainly made in the Bible. In Genesis 49 made references of the majority of them being in South America. But there's no pyramids down there. You see what I mean? There's no pyramids down there. I know a lot of people, you're still saying, well, this was Egypt. This was Egypt. Hey, the pyramids can't lie. The pyramids, the history, the archaeology can't lie. It can't lie, right? But then again, it contradicts the Bible to say, because my thing was, I was about to say that that I was about to say that the pyramids were built when the North Turtle Island was attached to Africa and Europe. When it was over here, there were people there were Israelites building pyramids in North America then. And which explains why they have mud on them, right? Because if the flood happened when America was attached to the northern to Africa and Europe, then we could explain why the pyramids are covered with mud, because it's nothing to explain how the pyramid got all the dirt. All of them are covered with dirt and mud. I mean, it's unless the flood, just like the flood came through, and when the waters resided, they left mud. They left mud. That's the only thing you can explain how all the pyramids got covered with mud. But then that would contradict what the Bible said, that the northern kingdom left Syria and traveled over to a land guided by God where no man had ever dwelled. Now, unless that word ever mean after the flood, right? Never meaning after the flood, nobody dwelled on that land until the northern kingdom came and dwelled and moved over across the Atlantic Ocean and began to live. Because how else could we explain the pyramids being in North America? And we could explain that if they didn't have mud covered on them. Right? If they wasn't covered with mud, then we can say, well, okay, the Northern Kingdom was here 2,000 years. They had plenty of time to build the pyramids. Right? They had plenty of time to build the pyramid because they was only in Egypt 400 years, 250 years in captivity, somewhere in that area. And they built, I think, 3 pyramids in 250 years under the Egyptian captivity, right? So we could explain, I think it's 100 and something pyramids here. And it was only 2 million people in captivity in Egypt. That explains how 3 pyramids got built in 200 something years with just 2 million people. Now, every 20 years, 2 million people, 2 million, maybe more, are born. That's captivity. Here in America, every 20 years, 2 million Israelite births, right? Every 20 years. So what the lifespan of a person would be 80 years. So 2, 4, 6, 8 million people every 80 years. And we were here over 2,000 years before close to over 2,000 years before the Edomites got here and the nations came to invade. So, I would say over 500 million people. Now, if they worked every day to build these pyramids, and that was a ongoing effort for 50 million people. 50 million people could build 100 and something pyramids in 1600 years, right? We don't know how fast they populated when they got here to the Northern Kingdom. We don't know how many came with them. We don't know how God multiplied them. We do know that their growth rate from birth to adulthood was really sped up. It was sped up, right? And so it's amazing that how many people are in this country from Europe, how many Europeans are here, and their birth rate is not as accelerated as the Israelites. But it's over it was at one time, it was 375 million Europeans in this land, not counting them scattered all over the world. They all over the world. 1 billion in China. So we can't say it's impossible for them to build 100 and something pyramids in this land in 1500 years. What we still have to explain is how the pyramids got covered with mud. Unless it was a conjoint effort to cover them up by the Edomites. We don't know how they would do that without airplanes and, helicopters to drop mud and dirt, and they don't have a crane big enough to cover them with dirt. They don't have a bulldozer big enough to cover them with dirt. So it had to be an act of God. And there was not a flood in this country that brought in dirt tall enough, water tall enough to carry mud to dump on these. But we know God will take a hurricane. He could take a hurricane. We see what he done in South Carolina, right? We see what he done in South Carolina with that hurricane. He went up, or was that Tennessee? Yeah, he took the hurricane off the coast and went down in Tennessee, Memphis or somewhere like that, and dropped enough water to flood out towns all the way down the mountain. So we don't know how God did it, but these pyramids are covered in mud. So those are things to think about. We know, if we believe in the flood and believe in the Bible, we know that the ark came down in Turkey. After Noah's flood, the ark was landed in Turkey, and the animals got off. And if America, this land, was where it is now, then how would all these animals here, North, Central, South America, get here? It had to be somewhere close, land attached, for some of these animals to get to America, to get to this place where we are now. Not the geographical location, but when it was located near, it was a little bit above Africa, North America, almost conjoined with Europe, the Mediterranean Sea. When you put the map together, the map is not upside down. That's the most stupidest thing you could ever hear somebody say. They show you the map upside down. Well, do you believe in compasses? Now, a compass works by gravity, right? You can understand the compass, right? North, east, south, and west. Well, get in your compass and go north and see if your compass don't say you're going north. Get in if you're in Indiana or somewhere Midwest, get in your car and drive toward Mexico and Florida and see if your compass show you that you're going in the direction that the map says Florida is in. Or go to the west. You get what I'm saying? So that's the stupid to say the maps, they show us the map upside down, because your compass can't lie. So whoever says that, they have no idea of a compass. They have never been in the military. They never traveled anywhere using a compass. They never walked down the street left, right, south, north, or south they never experimented with a compass. They're just saying what they heard somebody else say. They've never done true experimental work, right? So you use that scenario, use that demonstration on them. You know what I'm trying to say. When you hear people come to you and say they showed us the map upside down, tell them to pull up their compass out. On their phone, right? And you got a south side, a north side, a east side, and a west side in every city. So tell them to use their compass, lay it out flat in their hand, and start walking towards the east side of town and see which way the compass points. And then look at the map and see if the map says your east side of town is pointing the same way the compass is pointing, or your south side, west side, north side. Understand where I'm coming from? I'm sure you do. So that's my thing. It had to be, these pyramids had to be covered. No man could have covered these pyramids before we got a chance to investigate them, because we didn't see them working. In our lifetime, we never saw them working. And hundreds of years ago, let's see, they've been here 500 years, and we didn't see them covering these mountains up. They were too busy. No way they could have covered all these pyramids up and made that their joint effort. We would have saw them working. We would have saw them working, dropping dirt, because they didn't do it. Edomites didn't do this, right? And whoever covered them up, and anybody before the Edomites wouldn't have had the tools to cover them up, and then the natives wouldn't even have wanted to cover them up. The only people that wanted to hide these pyramids is the Most High God and the Edomites. Because the Most High God is proving to us that he controls the narrative. And the Edomites can't hide what he wants to uncover. When he giveth quietness, who then can make trouble? Thank you, Job. When he hides his face, who then can behold him? Whether it be done into a nation, or a man only. So what God hides, he uncovers in his time. So this was never Egypt. Egypt is a small geographical location on the map. On the right, Canaan land. Canaan. This is not Canaan land. This is Shemite's land. This is Shem, Noah's son. Where we are is Shemite. It's west. As far as you can go west is where the land God gave Shem. The northern hemisphere is Japheth. And the southern hemisphere in Africa, southern part of that Africa, America, where Russia is, that part that was in Asia. Asia is Moab. Moab going out that way. The Edomites, the Shemites, that's Shemites too. Asia, Shemites, let's see. White Edomites and Shemites, they're Shemites. All that's our land too. Not the Israelites' land, but the Shemites' land. Ham's land is southern, eastern Africa. From northeast to southeast Africa is the Canaanites' land, the land of Canaan. But all of the land north of Negro land in Africa and Jerusalem and west, northwest from there is Israelites. So, yeah, this explains several things. We still studying. We still getting answers from the Most High God. Does this matter? What we see now is enough to assure the Israelites that the Bible is right and that God is working. The thing of it is, when it says where no man ever dwelled, we know that that don't mean ever. Ever don't mean ever, because we're looking at these pyramids covered with mud. So that's what God is showing you, that men dwelled here, but after the flood, you know, there are some pyramids, and then, you know, we got to rethink that too, because was the Mayans actually building pyramids, or were they digging them out? Did they find them and start digging them out, or are they just now starting to be uncovered with the rain and the Most High letting the mud and stuff flow from them? Is He uncovering them now to show who built the pyramids, who the actual architects of these pyramids are? Because we know this land, a far country, was Abraham's land. We know this was Abraham's land. It was just cut off. It was cut off because continental drift had moved North America and North Central and South America, and put the Atlantic Ocean as a divide and separated it from these other nations, from these other geographical locations that we, you know. So, yeah, it's truth being uncovered. All praises to the Most High. Wait. Let me show you some more of these mounds, okay? Let's look at them. Now, there's some that's not covered with dirt, right? Let me see. I'm going to tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to take a picture, and maybe we're going to pop it up, because we can't blow that up. Let's blow this up. Now, these aren't covered with mud. And we know the Mayans didn't clean them off. So we say they built these. The Northern Kingdom built these. But look at that in the background over there. Did somebody build these, or did God build these? Because it's a lot of them, man. It's a lot of them. And why would they build them? And, well, they are fortified. They are fortified, you know. And if you try to climb them to get to the top where the people live, you be fighting uphill. So they are fortified. We know Jerusalem is kind of built, a city on a hill, right? Jerusalem is a city on the hill. So let's see. All right, let's go. Let's go back here. Let's take that back. I think I kind of got rid of, no, here we go. I don't know if I can use these pictures or not. Okay, this is another picture here of one, a smaller one. Now, they are the mound builders. They are the pyramid builders. The Northern Kingdom that was here are the pyramid builders, because we see fresh ones built here. We see the fresh ones being built in here. Now, we see some more here. Covered with dirt. We don't know how they got covered with dirt. And again, we can say maybe these mounds were here when they got here, covered with dirt. Some of them wasn't. But nobody was living here until after the flood. Nobody was living here after the flood. Maybe these mounds were preserved for the Israelites when they came over here, the Northern Kingdom, right? Who knows? Some are covered with dirt, some are not. Looks like something the flood would do, right? By the hand of the Most High God. Okay, now this is one that's not covered up. We don't know if it was freshly built by the Northern Kingdom or revitalized by the Edomites after they got over here. One that maybe wasn't covered all the way up with mud, and they revitalized it. It looks revitalized, right? So, this happened. This is it, man. It was being uncovered. The earth is helping the woman. This is the earth helping the woman. All praises to the Most High. This is the earth helping the woman. Helping us to heal us from that economic and psychological violence that was done to us. Okay? So all praises to the Most High God.